everybody, I'm Chris Johnson, aka CJ, and this is CJ's Kitchen. If you're tuning in for the first time, thanks for stopping by, and if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Today I have my good friend Janet back with us to show us her buttermilk biscuit recipe.
Yum.
Yum.
Yum. Okay, all right, so in this bowl, we have sifted together 2 cups flour, a tablespoon of sugar, 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, a whole tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon salt, and you want to sift it together to make sure that all of those ingredients get integrated together. So we've got all of our dry ingredients, and then what we did is you're going to need 6 tablespoons of butter, and you want the butter as cold as you can possibly get it. So we froze the butter first, and then we grated it, and so you can make these little beautiful little butter curls, and then we put it back into the freezer to keep it as cold as we possibly can. So we're going to add our butter to our flour mix, and we're going to mix that together.
Let me get all of our butter integrated. Okay.
So now that we've mixed our butter in with our flour, now we're going to add our buttermilk. So we're going to use 1 cup of buttermilk. And you can either get in there with your hands and mix it together with your hands, or you could mix it together with a fork. Doesn't matter, whatever floats your boat. And the dough is going to be a little bit on the sticky side. Okay, so now we've integrated our flour and our butter and our buttermilk. And remember, you want that butter to be as cold as possible, so frozen, and you want that buttermilk cold, fresh out of the refrigerator.
And why does everything need to be so cold?
It has to do with when the butter's cold, that's what gives you that flaky, because you want to keep that butter in little bits of solidness, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you bake the biscuit, then that melted butter inside makes those little tiny pockets. That's what makes it fluffy and flaky.
Nice.
Okay, so now we're going to dump out onto the board, and we're going to just give it a little bit of kneading. Not a lot of kneading required, just kind of enough to get it to shape together and form. And then we're going to cut, and I'm using a 2.5 inch cutter. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of flour down on the board. And then this is all going to come out, and it's a bit of a mess. And make sure you get everything out of the bowl. And it sticks, sticky. And like I said, your dough will be a little bit on the sticky side. Alright, so now we're just going to start kind of pushing it together with our hands. And, whoops, a little bit on my hands. If you find your hands are sticking to the dough, just flour up your hands a little bit. And all you're doing is you're just kind of grabbing it and folding it over onto itself, and then you give it a push. A little more flour. And I didn't have enough flour on my board. That's okay. This is always a challenge when we make them in camp, because you have to make sure that you're packing that extra flour. Okay. And you only have to do this about 6 or 7 times. So I've probably done that already. So.
And that's when you camp, you usually do all your dry ingredients ahead of time, don't you?
Right, I'll prep my dry stuff at home and put that into a container, and then of course the buttermilk, and then I'll also freeze the butter and then grate the butter and keep that frozen, and then I'll load that into a container and put that like down in the bottom of the cooler, where I'll make sure it's got ice all around it, and keep that butter, again, as cold as we possibly can. So then all you're going to do is kind of push this out. And these are rustic biscuits, which are the best kind. Okay, that's probably about good, I think. I'm always a very bad judge of how thick it needs to be. Okay, and a little bit of flour. Okay, and then we're just gonna start cutting, and you wanna go straight down, and you wanna go straight up. So don't twist. And that has to do with all those little glutens. All right. So now we have these beautiful little biscuits. And then with the leftover dough, we can reshape that, and we'll get a few more biscuits. You don't want to do more than, I would say, maybe 2 or 3 rounds. Otherwise, the dough just starts to get really, tough and just doesn't want to. And I try not to handle it too much, just enough to kind of get it to stick together. Yeah, that one might be a little oddly shaped. Okay, so I just got 3 more. See, and these will be just a little bit shorter. So what I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10.
Wow.
And I can probably get 1 more, but I'm not sure we're gonna be able to get it in the pan.
Might be a little tight. We just made that one big biscuit.
Look, it's a donut. So now I've got a cast iron skillet, and I found that it works best if I bake them in an enclosed space, because then as they're baking, they have no choice but to rise up instead of spread out. So I like to put them in like a nice round cast iron skillet. So we're gonna butter this up, and then we're gonna pop them in. So we've buttered up the cast iron skillet, and now I'm just going to arrange them in. I've got one in the center, and then we're just gonna make a little ring around. Now we're gonna bake in a 450-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes until they're nice, rising, golden brown, the whole bit. Okay.
All right.
All right.
These
came out of
gorgeous
the oven.
biscuits are out.
Woohoo!
Oh my God.
I know.
I am not kidding you. They are
Hot.
Ooh, they're hot.
My asbestos hands.
They just come out of the oven. I know, right? They are high and fluffy.
Yep.
Oh, and absolutely gorgeous. And we have butter.
We have butter.
And we have honey.
So we put our 3 little, the ones that didn't fit in the pan.
They didn't rise quite as beautifully as the ones in the tall pan, so.
Right. And again, that was because for those, that was the 3rd working of the dough. So, and because I was running low on dough, I probably didn't get it as high as I, did with the original batch. So, okay, gooey gooey.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Woohoo. I'm gonna try a bite without honey first. They're actually crunchy on the outside.
Yep.
The texture is amazing, and then they're really fluffy on the inside.
Right. Get that little crunch on the outside, and then nice and fluffy on the inside. Boy, and nothing beats a biscuit just fresh out of the oven.
And the tang from the buttermilk too, gives it this.
And it goes really nicely with the sweet honey.
It's one of my favorite things ever.
I know.
Biscuits with butter and honey.
Love them. Yep. This is a family favorite, and this is a camp favorite.
These are amazing. I can't wait to have biscuits and gravy with these.
Oh, yum.
If you aren't making your biscuits from scratch, try this recipe. You will never go back.
And you saw how easy it was. I mean, it went together in no time at all.
So guys, we hope you try this recipe. Let us know what you think. I'll have the link to Janet's recipe on her blog in the description below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you like this. And hey, why not subscribe if you enjoyed it? And until next time when we see you here in my kitchen, ciao.
Ciao.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
That's a biscuit.